Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is Montana This Morning from Montana's news leader.
Well, good morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Justine Stewart.
And I'm meteorologist Lewis Storch. Hopefully you're getting your Thursday morning started off on the right foot.
Yeah, much warmer out there this morning. I noticed, and a lot cloudier out there.
We got the clouds.
Our iCam looks dark.
Yes, it's going to be hazy again. And then, you know, yesterday, that big plume of smoke.
Oh, yeah.
I went out yesterday afternoon and I looked up and I was like, is that a thunderstorm?
It was so dark.
And it was just like, it was a pyrocumulus cloud is what those things are called. And it was a massive cloud formed from the big fire there at Lola Peak. And yeah, we'll talk more about that. Actually, I have like a little explainer that I'll do on that here in a few minutes. But yeah, it's going to be smoky again for today. It's going to be warm again today, and it's going to be hot as well. We're seeing some warmer temperatures this morning, 63 in Missoula, 59 in Polson. We're at 48 in Kalispell, 55 in Sealy, 59 in Phillipsburg, 52 Butte, 55 in Bozeman. So here's your forecast for this afternoon. Temperatures, yes, warming up into the 80s and 90s once again. 91 in Missoula, 91 Kalispell, 88 in Hamilton. We're at 87 this afternoon in Polson. Now we do have those scattered thunderstorms possible as we roll into the afternoon time, about a 30% chance in Missoula. The further north you go, the less likely you are to see those thunderstorms, and we'll talk more about that here in a few minutes.
Some Mineral County residents have left home not knowing what they'll come back to. The move after days of uncertainty, as the Mineral County Sheriff's Office did issue Stage 3 evacuation orders for residents of Sunrise and Quartz Flats who were told to leave the area immediately because of the growing Sunrise fire. That fire, 11 miles southeast of Superior, has scorched over 2,300 acres with no containment. Residents pulled out last night carrying only their most precious belongings away from those fires, which threaten about 60 structures. Quartz Creek still remaining in Stage 2 evacuation. Verde Creek has also moved into Stage 2 evacuation warning. About 25 to 30 homes are currently evacuated.
The intent of the incident management team is to get folks back in their home as soon as we can. We understand that they're worried, they see that smoke column, but again, the incident management team, we're going to work hard to make sure that those folks can get back into their homes.
An evacuation center has been set up at Superior High School. The number for the fire information line is 822-9084. The summer will be without campfires now that most lands in western Montana are underway in the Stage 2 restrictions. The ban, which also restricts outdoor smoking and other work activities, impacts federal, tribal, state, and private lands. The goal is to cut the risk of people starting a fire during this heat wave. The Missoula Fire Department advises people to be proactive about fire suppression by cleaning debris and removing dead and dry limbs from their trees, but avoid using chainsaws for that chore.
So, you know, handsaws or just limbing things up, cleaning out your gutters with the pine needles and debris, removing the log piles from underneath your deck.
Ravalli, Granite, Lake, Mineral, and Sanders Counties, Bitterroot, and Lolo National Forest, and the Flathead Reservation, all included in the Stage 2 fire shutdown. In Flathead County, Stage 2 fire restrictions already in place. Fire Service Manager Lincoln Shute says it's disappointing that in just the last 5 days, there have been 22 human-caused preventable fires.
We really tried to push the information out to the public that it's dry and we need to take special concerns and cautions, and it didn't work. We're still getting a lot of human-caused fires, and that really forced the fire management into requesting from all the agencies to go to Stage 2 fire restrictions.
This fire on Sunday along Highway 93 in Kalispell was human-caused. Other fires have been started by leftover campfires, dragging chains, and people throwing cigarettes out their car windows. The fear is how fast fires can ignite right now.
We are aggressively fighting the new fire starts, hitting them with everything we have to keep them small, because we know with the conditions we have, if they get established, the likelihoods there'll be a long duration fire. And that's the real concern with these human-caused fires. If we have one that we don't quite get to quick enough, or two start about the same time, and we don't catch one, it could be with us for months. And the resources nationally are stretched thin.
In other news this morning, a man who authorities believe killed a woman in Jefferson City over the weekend died Tuesday night during a traffic stop in Missoula. MTN's Don Fisher has been tracking the story and has the latest.
Shortly before midnight on Tuesday, an individual suspected to be involved in the death of 45-year-old Cassandra Dean Morrison of Jefferson County was located by police in Missoula. Things took an unexpected turn as officers attempted to make contact with the man. Police stopped the vehicle around the 3600 block of Rattlesnake Drive, and as they approached to try and make an arrest, the suspect shot himself with two others in the vehicle, leading to his death. The Ravalli County Sheriff's Office was called in to investigate the incident.
We started early this morning at the request of the Missoula Police Department and the Missoula County Attorney's Office to go up and help them or start that investigation. So right now we've got a lot of interviews done, some evidence collected, and we just have a few more interviews we need to get done and keep moving in that direction.
At the request of the Montana Department of Justice, Missoula police officers were conducting surveillance on the suspect at the Rattlesnake Drive residence. During that time, the suspect and two others drove away from the home in the Rattlesnake, so police followed the vehicle and pulled it over. Officers knew the suspect was potentially armed, so they exited the vehicle with weapons drawn and waited for a backup unit to arrive. That's when the suspect shot himself. Holton says having a third-party investigation in these kinds of cases is routine and in no way suggests Missoula officers did anything wrong during the stop.
Our understanding of the traffic stop was initiated or beginning when the death occurred. So that turns it into what's termed a custodial death. It's a good practice and really common to bring in another agency and just have an outside set of eyes look and do the investigation.
Holton says there is no timetable as to when the investigation will be complete. In Missoula, Don Fisher, MTN News.
The name of that suspect has not yet been released pending notification of family by the Missoula County Sheriff's Office. Well, President Donald Trump tweeted Wednesday that he plans to reinstate a ban against transgender individuals from serving in any capacity in the U.S. Armed Forces. Trump cited tremendous medical costs and disruption, but a recent study by the Department of Defense found that healthcare costs for treating active members who want to transition to another gender cost less than 1% of the agency's annual spending on healthcare. It is estimated that right now as many as 6,600 transgender people are in the U.S. military. Reaction from both Montana senators. Republican Steve Daines says, quote, "I respect the decision of the commander-in-chief." Democrat Senator John Tester says, quote, "Military decisions with major consequences should be left to the folks on the front lines and not subject to the whims of politics. Every service member and veteran who has sacrificed for our country deserves support." Montana Congressman Greg Gianforte has not yet responded to a request from MTN for comment. A proposed ballot measure to prohibit transgender people from using certain bathrooms or locker rooms in Montana is ready for a signature gathering. Initiative 183 is sponsored by the Montana Family Foundation, a conservative group that lobbies on social and educational issues. The foundation says it's leading the effort to gather signatures to qualify for the 2018 ballot. At least 25,500 signatures of registered voters are needed to place an initiative on that ballot. If passed by voters, the measure requires any public or school bathroom or locker room to be designated for one sex and says anyone of the opposite biological sex cannot use it. A similar proposal failed at the 2017 legislature. Well, crews are making good progress on containing the Lodgepole complex in eastern Montana. The fire has burned 270,000 acres. It is 62% contained. Evacuation orders for property owners north of Highway 200 in western Garfield County were lifted. 16 homes have been lost, as well as numerous outbuildings, haystacks, and fencing. Time for your weather on the 8s now. Lewis is standing by.
All right, thank you, Justine. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you're having a great Thursday, just a couple days away from the weekend. Here's a look outside our St. Joseph Medical Center iCam in Polson. Nice start to the day. A few clouds overhead this morning. Those moved in last night, trapping in a lot of the heat. So it was a mild start to our morning. Temperatures, once again though, 80s and 90s by this afternoon. Now we've received a lot of these pictures yesterday. This is from the Lolo Peak fire. This is called a pyrocumulus cloud. So this is from the fire. The smoke rises. As it rises, it actually, if conditions are right, is able to form a cloud, and sometimes you can even get thunderstorms with these. Here's another picture of this pyrocumulus cloud. So what I wanted to do is go through just a little explainer this morning, what exactly that means, how do those form? And so to do that first, we're going to talk about how clouds form, and we'll do one way. Clouds form many ways, but one of the ways that they form is just due to the sunshine. What the sun does during the afternoon is it heats the surface of the earth. The surface of the earth becomes hot. It's much warmer than the surrounding air. Warm air is then able to rise, and rising air, when the conditions are right, can form clouds and sometimes thunderstorms. Now, the rising air, that's not just what you need. You also need some water vapor in the atmosphere. So when those water vapor condenses, and it forms the clouds and the thunderstorms. So that's pretty much what happened yesterday with those pyrocumulus clouds. You have, extend the sun, you have the fire, so that created the hot surface. That warm air rises. Now remember, you need some sort of water vapor in the atmosphere. Well, that comes from the trees, the grass, the plants. When those burn, that creates the water vapor in the atmosphere that rises and was able to form a cloud yesterday. And sometimes you get lightning, strong winds, and even rain with those. So those one of the ways that those pyrocumulus clouds forms. This is another thing that we're going to be watching for today, and that's going to be our drought monitor. This is going to be updated at about 6:30 a.m. this morning. I wanted to go ahead and show you what it looks like right now with a wide area of extreme drought and then abnormally dry. Unfortunately, I think at 6:30 we're just going to see these get a lot worse. Here's the thunderstorm chances for today. A little bit of rain in the forecast. Best chance there in southwestern Montana. Then the further north you go, those chances are quickly going to decrease. Your 7-day forecast for Missoula: 91 today, 92 tomorrow, 94 on Saturday, and Justine, I know you hate it, but we're doing it anyway. 97 on Sunday and middle and upper 90s into next week.
All right. Well, you know, that was a neat explanation of that cloud. We got so many photos of that.
I know. Yeah, so many photos. So I figured, well, maybe we'll go into what actually forms those. Because like I said, I saw it yesterday. I was like, is that a thunderstorm forming?
Right.
But no, it was just everything from the fire building. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks, Lewis, and make sure you stick around because we'll be back with much more coming up after the break. But first, here's some birthdays for you this morning.